Christie's sides were coaching, this could actually be a good thing for the Indiana Fever. But these recent struggles that are exposing a lot of their flaws, I have no faith whatsoever that Stephanie White is going to make any adjustments. You know what I saw after the last two games, bad losses, losses that could keep the Indiana Fever from a home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. I saw the Indiana Fever repeatedly posting to social media celebrating Kelsey Mitchell getting yet again another game of 20 plus points. By the way, hold on to that thought because we're going to get into that in a minute as well. And it might not be something that we should be celebrating Indiana Fever. I'm just saying. And look, we already know what all the Caitlin Clark haters are going to say, and the weirdos like Jason Whitlock. You should see something he posted. We'll get to that later as well. Clark choked. Caitlin Clark lost in the game. Clark this, Clark that. She wasn't good enough. She missed free throws, and on and on and on. But these are people who didn't actually watch the game. One of the biggest issues in sports right now, especially basketball, is especially people who have an agenda and just want to hate on certain people or praise others as they do nothing but look at box scores. And it's a snapshot, and it can give you an idea. But man, if you looked at the Fever box score and you'd look at what their starters were doing in terms of, points, rebounds, assists, that thing, you'd be like, yeah, this was great. Anyone who watched that game knows it was not great. Even Caitlin Clark wasn't great, but Caitlin Clark did not have a bad basketball game. It's levels, folks, right? Expectations. Caitlin Clark had 21 points. She shot well. She had 7 assists, 4 rebounds. And get this, as I pointed out to some people trashing Clark, because people love to use this number when they trash Caitlin, because usually it's a negative, not a negative total, but usually Caitlin Clark's plus minus is worse than other starters because Clark usually seems to be the starter who gets to play with the really, really bad lineups. And then they get outscored, and then that hurts her plus minus. Y'all know I'm not a huge fan of that stat. But hey, let's talk about it for this game. Kelsey Mitchell, let's go over we can look at it on the thing. You can see it right here, right? Michaela Timpson, minus 10. This is a 7-point loss. I was thinking it was a 9-point loss. 7 point. By the way, the Liberty only one game behind the Indiana Fever now. Aaliyah Boston's a minus 3. Kelsey Mitchell, minus 10. Lexi Hull, plus 4, but she only played 12 minutes and did nothing. Caitlin Clark, 35. Kelsey Mitchell, by the way, 33 minutes, minus 10. Caitlin Clark, 35 minutes, plus 2 in a 7-point loss. Plus 2 in a 7-point loss. By the way, she shot 9 of 18. Yeah, missed a couple of big free throws at the end, no doubt. I'm not going to spin it. She missed a couple big free throws when they were down 5. Did that lose the game? No. Did it pretty much eliminate their little chance they had of coming back and winning the game, or at least sending it to overtime? Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to, y'all know me, I'm not going to spin the missed free throws, but to take that into the entirety of the game and say Caitlin Clark is the reason they lost, or, Caitlin Clark didn't play well. Oh, by the way, to go 9 of 18 and get those 21 points and also the 7 assists and 4 rebounds, 2 turnovers, folks. Caitlin Clark had 2 turnovers. You know who had 4 turnovers, which was half the team's 8, by the way? Kelsey Mitchell. You ever see Kelsey Mitchell get reprimanded or pulled out of games when she makes mistakes like she did last night? I get it. She got 25. She was 9 of 15, 3 of 6 from 3. I was unimpressed. Kelsey Mitchell missed Caitlin Clark many times, didn't pass her the open ball. She dribbled around. She took some crappy shots. Kelsey Mitchell is about Kelsey Mitchell. And what I mean when I say that is I don't mean she's a horrible person and that she doesn't necessarily like or support her teammates, but Kelsey Mitchell's ideal way of playing basketball is she's going to get everything she wants to get, and she's perfectly cool with teammates that support that. I won't go into too much detail, but we had a receiver in Philly named A.J. Brown who was the same thing. He even came out and said it. Winning the Super Bowl wasn't a big deal for him. He wants his stats. And then when his stats lead to winning, then the winning is cool too. Kelsey Mitchell brings those vibes to the games, man. Kelsey Mitchell brings those vibes. So, but again, I only point that out. I'm being consistent, which is why I say I'm not a huge plus minus fan without context, right? Obviously, it matters who you play with. If you're a starter who gets to stay on, usually when other starters rest, and now you've got the subs in there, it makes a difference. But I thought this was a really interesting gap. Kelsey Mitchell played 33 minutes, Caitlin Clark 35, and they're 12 points apart in the plus minus. And Caitlin's a positive +2, even with the missed free throws. In a game, the Fever lost by 7. Clark, 2 turnovers, Mitchell, 4. Who was Stephanie White? Who was it that Stephanie White was in her ear all game? It was Caitlin Clark. You saw the Fever these last couple of games get absolutely exposed for terrible coaching, terrible systems. Caitlin Clark off the ball, lots of players watching. And unless Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark, and they weren't terrible, but unless they're elite, this team is going to struggle because they have nothing else. Aaliyah Boston thinks she's a player that she isn't. We all know the conversation, though, is going to be about all the things Caitlin Clark didn't do, which is why I'm talking about this. But let's be fair. A lot of people aren't analyzing basketball. They're starting with this premise, with this narrative that they want is Caitlin Clark's terrible. Caitlin Clark's the problem. Caitlin Clark's why the Fever losing. And then they're gonna try and figure out what they can use to support that. But if you're watching games, if you're watching the Fever offensive possessions, if you're watching the rotations, if you're watching the offense and how it's run, and you're watching what happens when Caitlin Clark is not out there, well, then that's a little different. But speaking of weirdos, we're going to speak about weirdos here with Jason Whitlock here. He thought this is creepy as hell, man. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this. Some of it's obviously inaccurate because I watched the game and he's spinning it. But look at this, man. He went step by step through Caitlin Clark. By the way, I will say this, and it was a great find by Sophie. He said Clark at 340 with 19 on shot clock, missed long 3 to take the lead. He puts the 19 on shot clock because he wants to make it sound like it was a bad choice. The Indiana Fever were in transition, for those who didn't know. Sophie Cunningham is pushing the ball up the court on the right, sees Caitlin Clark trailing just a little bit wide open on the left, throws the cross-court pass to Caitlin Clark. She is wide open. You absolutely, every single time you have that opportunity, Sophie makes that pass, and Caitlin takes that shot. I don't care about the damn shot clock. I don't care about the score of the game. Y'all remember well, maybe you don't, but the Phoenix Suns with their philosophy of like you shoot in the first 7 seconds of the shot clock. He put the with 19 to make it sound like it was a bad decision. It was the right decision. That's always going to be the right decision, right? Then he 314 fell asleep, let Astier get offensive rebound and 2 free throws. Again, if you watch the game, that's not true. Then he blames Caitlin Clark again. Then Caitlin Clark falls asleep at free throw line, gives up offensive again. Caitlin Clark, bad drive, flops to ground, winds to ref, stays on knees, no hustle back. Again, none of that's true. But, Jason Whitlock is he's become a POS. He is a loon. He is an unhinged grifter with a very, very low IQ whose entire existence is to piss off Caitlin Clark fans. And he loves to call them a cult. And yet this man, is there anyone more obsessed with Caitlin Clark than Jason Whitlock? I understand why he decided not to have me on after he asked me to come on his show, because he needs people who are just going to nod and be like, yes, Jason, yes, Jason. He can't have anybody who's going to actually push back on his bullshit. That would wreck him. It would absolutely wreck the man. But anyway, I thought this was cool too. And shout out Brady. 7-7-90. Come on, man. Make it easier on me. And I double checked this with some other people as well. Just so you know, here we go, folks. Kelsey Mitchell, when she leads the Fever in scoring points, they are 10 and 11. When Caitlin Clark leads the team in scoring, they're 11 and 3. That is the reality of it, no matter what you say or how you want to try and twist it. That is massive, massive, massive. Losing record, 47.6 win percentage versus a 780 win percentage. By the way, 786 win percentage will put them second in the league, just behind the Minnesota Lynx, who are 31-7, which is an 81.6% win percentage. Wow. Aaliyah Boston has been atrocious. She's been cooked. Last game, she was cooked by Jess Shepard. This game, she was cooked by Jonquel Jones. My God, I would trade Aaliyah Boston for Jonquel Jones in a second, a nanosecond, or what some people might call a New York minute. By the way, Aaliyah Boston, and I mentioned this a couple of times. Remember when I talked about, and I gave her credit for improving it, she was hitting threes, but she was hitting wide open practice threes because of Caitlin Clark, and she was leading the league, getting in her head, thinking she's great. Lately, she's been taking threes that are not practice threes. In the last 5 games, Aaliyah Boston is 2 for 13 from 3. Yet, Stephanie White continues to have her as the hub, continues to have her out there messing up this offense as they try and run it through her because she thinks she's a point guard. Aaliyah Boston, our center, our supposed all-star center on USA Basketball, 3 rebounds. 3 rebounds. Kelsey Mitchell constantly ignoring Caitlin Clark. But yeah, let's circle back to Kelsey for a second. We've known, and it's hurt the team, folks, that Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever have been all about their number one priority, which hasn't been winning, which could end up giving the Fever a rough first round matchup where they don't even have home court advantage because the priority has been Kelsey Mitchell getting her 20. And then, if we can win the game, that's cool too. And you see it with Kelsey Mitchell, not just Stephanie White. Kelsey Mitchell is hunting, folks. She is hunting points early in the game. She is disrupting the Fever offense. There is no flow to the offense. It's all about Kelsey's got to get him early because Kelsey's got to get her 20. Kelsey's got to get her streak, and that is hurting the Indiana Fever offense, even with it already being terrible because of Stephanie White, man. Kelsey Mitchell can get her 20 within the flow. Put the ball in Caitlin Clark's hand and let Caitlin Clark be Caitlin Clark, and Kelsey Mitchell will get her 20. I don't understand why she doesn't understand that. We need the entire team out there hunting wins. If the scoring streak is what matters, the talent isn't there. The Stephanie White run offense isn't there. The defense, I don't know what the hell the defense was doing last night. We don't even have time to get into all that. But look, man, here's the other thing, too, at the end of the day. This is one softest CHARMIN team, man. This is one soft, mentally soft team. Other than maybe Sophie and Caitlin. Soft. I'm giving an incomplete on Michaela, right? I haven't seen enough of Michaela Timpson to know how much of a dig deep type of player when adversity hits. I mean, Caitlin Clark, listen to me. Hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. You are a Kobe Bryant fan, right? I am going to say this to you as I probably can. Please don't unsub for this, man. Kobe Bryant would be ashamed of you right now, Caitlin Clark. Because if this were his team, if he had these softest CHARMIN punks playing with him, he'd be calling them out. And at this point, he would be doing it. Yeah, he would be doing. I get, man, leadership is tricky. I get it. But y'all know at this point, Kobe Bryant he'd already been calling him out behind the scenes big time. But he'd be calling him out publicly. And I'm not even saying he would call names, but he would absolutely call out his team. If he were interviewed after a game like this, he would say, we're soft, man. We're soft in the head. We lack mental toughness. We're quitting on plays when it gets tough. And we simply don't have it in us to finish and overcome at the end of tight ball games. We're not there. We got to get our heads right. Kobe Bryant would put that out there, Caitlin Clark. I'm just saying it might be something you want to say. And I know a lot of people are going to go, but it's so tough for her already. None of that's going to change. She's already targeted as much as you can be targeted. Now she's got to be the complete player, and the hell with all the other nonsense because it's happening anyway. What, they're going to tackle her more? The referees are gonna be worse with how they call games. I mean, I guess that's possible, but come on, man. But I don't trust the Indiana Fever in a close game, man. I don't think they can close it out, and it's not because they don't have some players that can be clutch. I even think Kelsey Mitchell can be clutch, not with run offense and not with fools like Aaliyah Boston on the court. Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know, but yeah, I guess I'm gonna leave it there. I could do a lot of rant, and we got some other stuff probably to talk about as well. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. I will talk to you later.